being here this afternoon on what has been a very busy day for you. I'd like to welcome you to this CB Muthamma Hall. This is the first time we are having a press interaction of this sort in this hall after it was named after India's first woman diplomat, Ms. CB Muthamma. What we will do is I have here with me Foreign Secretary, who will brief you about the courtesy meetings that the Prime Minister had with 8 leaders who are here for the swearing-in ceremony. And it was normal courtesy that we have engagements of our leadership with them. So what I've requested is that Foreign Secretary will make a statement, which is her opening remarks, following which the floor will be open for you to ask any questions that you may like to ask. Given that we are now starting approximately at about 5 to 4, we have, I would think, about 20 to 25 minutes, of which we will have the statement and the questions to follow. Please raise your hands when you ask your question, and each one, just one question, because there's several of you here, and I'm certain all of you may like to ask a question each. So the ground rules are known to you all. With those brief introductory remarks, I'll ask Foreign Secretary to make her opening statement. Foreign Secretary.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today had good and substantive meetings with all 8 leaders who are visiting India. He thanked each of them for their graciousness in accepting his invitation to attend the ceremony of oath-taking and noted that this was a celebration of democracy in the region, enriched by their presence. In his meeting with President Karzai of Afghanistan, PM thanked Afghanistan for the assistance provided by the Afghan National Security Forces in repelling the attack on our consulate in Herat. He said that the attack only strengthened our resolve to work together with Afghanistan. He reiterated India's commitment to the development and reconstruction of Afghanistan and India's interest in seeing a prosperous, independent and sovereign Afghanistan where the reconciliation process would be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned and Afghan-controlled. In his meeting with Prime Minister Tshering Tobgay of Bhutan, PM conveyed his warm greetings and respects to His Majesty the King of Bhutan. He noted that India and Bhutan share a unique and special relationship with long-standing historical and cultural linkages. He assured PM Tobgay of India's unflinching support for Bhutan's socio-economic development. The 2 Prime Ministers agreed to commence 4 new joint venture hydroelectric projects with a generating capacity of 2,120 megawatts in Bhutan. They affirmed their mutual security interests and agreed to closely coordinate and cooperate on issues relating to their national interest. Prime Minister conveyed to President Abdullah Yameen of Maldives the high importance attached by India to its relations with the Maldives and pledged to work towards further enhancing bilateral cooperation. Prime Minister noted that the 2 countries had a shared recognition that the security interests of both countries were interlinked and agreed that each side would continue to be sensitive to the concerns of the other on the issue, and that their respective territories would not be allowed to be used by any quarter for any activity inimical to the other. It was agreed to take measures to further strengthen investment and trade cooperation, as well as cooperation in projects that would strengthen regional and sub-regional transport and connectivity to mutual advantage. Prime Minister expressed government support to cooperation in the petroleum and natural gas sector, particularly in oil exploration, as well as in the tourism and education sectors. Prime Minister recalled the special and unique relationship between India and Mauritius in his meeting with Prime Minister Dr. Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam of Mauritius. He noted that the 2 countries are bound together by history, common ancestry and kinship of their people. Both leaders agreed to further strengthen the relationship especially economic cooperation and interactions in the field of maritime security, renewable energy, and the blue economy, including development of related infrastructure. They also agreed to work together with all other member countries in further strengthening the Indian Ocean Rim Association. In his meeting with Prime Minister Sushil Koirala of Nepal, PM noted that Nepal was an old and deeply valued friend with whom India shared history, geography, and ancient civilizational ties, and it was his earnest desire to visit Nepal this year. Prime Minister expressed his appreciation for the political progress achieved in Nepal and conveyed his sincere hope that the constitution would be adopted in the one-year time frame that Nepal had set for itself. He expressed his determination to further strengthen connectivity and economic interlinkages between India and Nepal, including through projects for rail and road connectivity. PM stressed the importance of expediting implementation of these projects, and particularly projects in the hydropower and transmission sectors. He thanked Nepal for the ongoing security cooperation between law enforcement agencies on both sides, which both sides are resolved to strengthen even further. In his meeting with President Mahinda Rajapaksa of Sri Lanka, PM noted that India valued its relations with Sri Lanka. He requested the government of Sri Lanka to expedite the process of national reconciliation in a manner that meets the aspirations of the Tamil community for a life of equality, justice, peace, and dignity in a united Sri Lanka. Early and full implementation of the 13th Amendment and going beyond would contribute to this process. They also discussed the fishermen's issue, India's development assistance program, and economic and commercial cooperation. In particular, PM expressed interest in early launch of the 500 megawatt Sampur coal power project and greater connectivity between the two countries. Both leaders reiterated their desire to further strengthen bilateral relations. In the meeting with Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif of Pakistan, PM underlined our concerns relating to terrorism. It was conveyed that Pakistan must abide by its commitment to prevent its territory and territory under its control from being used for terrorism against India. We also expect that necessary steps will be taken in the Mumbai terror attack trial underway in Pakistan to ensure speedy progress of the case and the conviction of those responsible. The PMs agreed that the foreign secretaries will remain in touch and explore how to move forward. PM said that the two countries could move immediately towards full trade normalization on the basis of the September 2012 roadmap. PM expressed his hope that India-Pakistan relations would progress in the economic, cultural, and political fields in the same manner that India's relations with her other SAARC neighbors have progressed in recent years. He shared his vision of a SAARC region built on partnerships for development and mutual prosperity. Prime Minister requested Speaker of Bangladesh Parliament, Dr. Shireen Sharmeen Chowdhury, to convey his warm greetings and best wishes to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina of Bangladesh, and said that he looked forward to receiving her in India at an early date. He recalled our strong relations rooted in shared struggle, history, culture, and language. He noted that we have shared stakes in each other's progress and prosperity, and Bangladesh was India's largest trading partner in SAARC. He appreciated the cooperation extended by Bangladesh to work together with India in all areas of mutual interest, including security, power, border management, rail and road transport. He expressed the commitment of Government of India in maintaining and building upon the momentum that has characterized India-Bangladesh relations in recent years. To sum up, Prime Minister had good and substantive meetings with all the 8 leaders. The visiting dignitaries expressed appreciation for PM's gesture in inviting the leaders of SAARC and Mauritius to India for the oath-taking ceremony. and for PM's focus on SAARC and his ideas on further strengthening regional cooperation. The meetings were held in a friendly and constructive atmosphere. From India's perspective, a strong and promising beginning has been made at the start of the new government in our engagement with each of the countries in the South Asian region and with Mauritius. Thank you.
Yeah, since there were 8 meetings, let's go in a sequential order of the meetings. So let's first take up those meetings that were held earlier in the morning. That related to the 3 presidents, because that was the protocol order that we followed. So if you have any questions on those, we will take those first and then move down the order. So any questions relating to Afghanistan? Yes, Gaurav, just a minute. Please wait for the mic and then.
Foreign Secretary, did the Afghan president talk about the Herat attack and who they suspected were behind this? And did the Prime Minister then raise this with those who we suspect were behind this?
I understand that you were the person who conducted the TV interview with President Karzai. So he's already told you what he felt was the case in the matter.
Now, Gaurav, one question. We're coming one by one to it. We are now focused on the 3 presidents. We'll answer those questions. Yes, ma'am.
I'm repeating just...
yes, please speak it up.
I'm repeating just Gaurav's question that in this word of exchange, is there any discussion upon this Afghanistan Herat attack? Who is behind it?
Look, President Karzai has already made his views known in the interview that he gave yesterday. And yes, there was a discussion on Herat in his meeting with Prime Minister Modi.
Yes, just a minute. Anchal? Just wait on, please. Let the mic.
Could you please elaborate a little on what President Karzai really shared as far as the Herat attack is concerned? If not, then tell us. But we would like to know.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to go into details in a verbatim manner as to what was shared between the 2 leaders.
Anyone else on any of the presidents? Yes, sure. Just a minute. Just a minute, the mic.
अफगानिस्तान से अभी अमेरिका की सेना जाने वाली है और ये पता चला है कि अफगानिस्तान में ओबामा की एक विजिट हुई है रिसेंटली और ओबामा ने चिंता व्यक्त की है कि सेना जाने के बाद वहां पर सिक्योरिटी की प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत ज्यादा हो सकती है जो भारत के लिए भी चिंता का विषय हो सकता है। तो इस बारे में कुछ कोऑपरेशन बढ़ाने के लिए या जो कुछ भी बात थोड़ा सा आप बताएं मैडम।
You are aware that we are deeply involved in Afghanistan. We have a substantive aid assistance package. We are implementing several economic projects, and we are also have good cooperation with the Afghan National Security Forces in training as well as other areas. We expect this cooperation to increase in the days to come. And we have every confidence that they will redeem themselves and do well in safeguarding Afghanistan's interests exactly in the manner that they came to our assistance in the attack on our consulate in Herat.
Sanjay, would you like to ask on Afghanistan? Yes, just a minute.
Ma'am, Mr. Karzai has told Times Now that Mullah Omar is currently in Quetta. Now, does the Indian government have similar information on this issue?
Shinjoy, we are here today to talk about the Prime Minister's meetings with his 8 counterparts who came over here at his invitation. We're not here to talk about whether Mullah Omar is in Pakistan or not. I'll leave it at that.
Mr. Venkat Narayan?
Mrs. Singh, all the SAARC leaders are meeting for the first time 3 years after the Malay summit, and Nepal is supposed to host the 18th summit in November. By any chance, any of them took up any issues concerning SAARC or giving it, some kind of a push in the coming months so that it produces some positive results? Thanks.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, the leader who took it up the strongest was our Prime Minister. In each of his meetings, he talked about the idea of SAARC and how we should use SAARC to improve regional cooperation and connectivity, and how each country in SAARC has its own specific strengths and opportunities. And he said that we should learn from each other's best practices. For instance, microfinance in Bangladesh. And I must say that the other leaders responded very warmly to this suggestion and agreed with him wholeheartedly that this was something that was indeed worth pursuing. So there is a vision. There is a vision of SAARC working closely together and focusing on larger issues of regional importance.
Pranay?
Foreign Secretary, do you see the initiative that is taken by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, anything new in engaging with the neighborhood, or is this a continuity of the policies that were being pursued by the previous government?
The very invitation to the SAARC leaders, which has never been done before when a new Prime Minister has been sworn into office, that itself is new. And that is the starting point. It's very good to see that all the 8 leaders accepted our invitation, accepted the Prime Minister's invitation, and graciously came and joined us. And these were the words that Prime Minister used, that their presence had enriched our celebrations, and that this was a celebration of democracy. All the leaders who came represent democracies. And in some ways, this is a new beginning, which many of them remarked, that it's the first time that an occasion like this has brought the SAARC countries together. And indeed, one leader remarked that we should have had a SAARC summit over here.
No. Anyone else on? No, Sri Lanka or, another president, yes. Yeah. Padma Rao and then.
Foreign Secretary, I'd like to know if President Rajapaksa extended an invitation to our Prime Minister to visit, and also whether the uproar in Tamil Nadu and also the demonstrations in Delhi featured at all. I mean, did he express concern, or did either of the sides express concern? Thank you.
There was definitely an invitation to visit. As a matter of fact, all the leaders invited the Prime Minister to visit, and he has accepted the invitations and indicated that dates could be worked out in mutual consultation between the foreign offices. And no, there was no discussion about the uproar. I don't see why they should be. It's something that's internal to us.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, what is the reaction of the President Rajapaksa regarding the amendment of 13th Amendment for the last 25 years, more than 25 years, both the governments having a dialogue about the implementation of this amendment. And so far nothing has happened. But what was the reaction from the Sri Lankan president? Whether he is really keen to go for amendment or just given some kind of excuses in today's meeting?
The Prime Minister discussed this with President Rajapaksa, and he took it up and they discussed it at some length. So we on our side have urged upon President Rajapaksa that it is important for the well-being of the Tamils in Sri Lanka that the 13th Amendment be implemented, and that it's also important for it to go beyond. So we are hopeful that this request that is coming from Prime Minister will be listened to, and that Sri Lanka will take appropriate action as required.
One question. I'll answer that. One question at a time. Yes. No, please. Yeah, please. Only 18. Yeah. We'll ask their...
Lanka, although you have said, Mrs. Singh, that you would not go into details, it's not so much a detail as to whether in the matter of this conflict over fishermen, which there are different perceptions, but the predominant perception is that the fishermen from Tamil Nadu who stray beyond the Indian territorial waters, and they are getting kind of picked up and go over there, and that is creating the problem. Has any kind of agreement been arrived at, or at least a broad understanding that we will prevent the Indian fishermen from straying beyond the territorial waters in search of fish because they are not finding it within our territorial waters? Is there any such understanding at least, or a tacit agreement that we will work towards this?
Yes, of course. There was agreement between the two leaders that we need a long-term solution towards this, because the fishermen's issue is a livelihood issue, whether it's for our Tamils or the Tamils in Sri Lanka. So they both agreed that this needed to be addressed, and that we should encourage the fishermen's talks to go on ahead, and we should try every means to find a solution.
Tripti?
Ma'am, I'm wondering, given this initiative and given the fact that the Prime Minister has accepted the invitation of the SAARC leaders, would a SAARC country overtake Japan in hosting Mr. Modi?
Why don't we wait and see?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Just a minute. On the presidents as of now. Yeah, sure.
Was there any talk of continuation and expansion of military training programs for Sri Lankan personnel in India? Did that figure in the discussions at all?
Look, we don't want to go into details, but there was generally an agreement to strengthen cooperation and to expand our cooperation in all the areas where we are interacting with each other.
I presume we've exhausted the questions on this aspect. Okay, we will then take in sequential order. If you have any questions let me finish. Let me answer, and I think you won't raise your hand. On Bhutan, Maldives, Mauritius, Nepal.
There.
Yes, Manish, thanks. Just a minute. Pardon?
No, actually, I thought you were calling about Pakistan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we will come to that certainly. Yeah, sure. You are a free individual. You can skip any time you want. If we skipped, you would say backtracked. But you are free to skip. Anyone else? Okay. Now we have on the last two meetings, which is Pakistan and Bangladesh. Yes, Nidhi?
Ma'am, you mentioned that the foreign secretaries of the two countries are going to be in touch. If I could ask you, how exactly will they be in touch? Will there be a meeting? Can we assume that this is the FS level talks resuming, or are they going to meet or talk to look at a roadmap forward on resuming the dialogue? What does it mean exactly?
Nidhi, it means exactly what it says. It means that the foreign secretaries will be in touch to look at the way forward. So we can be in touch through our foreign offices, we can meet, and then we can see how best to continue this conversation.
Yeah.
No
maybe
dates.
only one question. Yes, Maha?
So when India raised the issue of terror in 2611, what was the response from Pakistan? Sorry, ma'am.
Yeah, if you ask me, I'll answer it. Like, we are not the official spokespersons of the Pakistan Foreign Office. We can only give our version of it. And lest you will, somebody say that we distort the thing. So please understand, we will answer questions related to us. Yes, yes, sir, ma'am.
मेरा सवाल यही है, जब नवाज शरीफ से बात हुई 26/11 का, आपने कहा डिस्कशन हुआ, क्या उस मुद्दे पे दाऊद इब्राहिम की भी कोई बात आई जो उनको उसके इशू पे कुछ बात हुई, और क्या नवाज शरीफ ने इंडियन पीएम को इनवाइट किया है, जाएंगे नरेंद्र मोदी पाकिस्तान, ऐसा कोई प्लान है?
एक सवाल कौन सा पूछना चाह रहे हैं?
फर्स्ट वाला।
Second one. नहीं, फर्स्ट वन, that's fine. Always the first.
सेकंड मेरी तरफ से कि क्या
एक के बाद एक, प्लीज. Next time we'll give you a chance. Don't worry, not going anywhere.
देखिए, आप इतने डिटेल में पूछने से मैं जवाब नहीं दे सकती हूँ, क्योंकि मैं तो आपको रिकॉर्ड ऑफ डिस्कशंस नहीं शेयर कर रही हूँ. बहुत सारे चीज डिस्कस हुए थे और टेररिज्म के बारे में बात भी हुई थी, मगर उससे ज्यादा मैं नहीं बोलना चाहती हूँ.
Yes, Ranjit.
Did any side raise the issue of early resolution of the dispute regarding Jammu and Kashmir? Dispute regarding.
The foreign secretaries are going to be in touch to see the best way forward.
Yeah. No, Gaurav, we finished. Yes. Seema? Yeah.
You won't let me speak. Foreign Secretary, as both the Prime Ministers are very keen on trade and all that, was there any question or was there any promise from Nawaz Sharif about giving India most favored nation status?
Well, you know, it's now NDMA, right? Non-differentiated market access. So, yes, there was a discussion on trade. There was a keen... Yes, there was discussion on trade, and we noted that we were fully ready to normalize trade and economic relations, and both Prime Ministers expressed their interest in having this done as early as possible.
Sachin?
Ma'am, in the meeting with the Bangladesh speaker, did the Bangladesh...
Are we moving on now?
Okay,
yeah.
I thought...
Yeah, anyone else who wants to finish this part, then we come to Bangladesh. Let's go one by one. Yes. Here. एक minute.
मैडम, दाऊद के विषय पे आपने कहा कि डिटेल नहीं बोलना चाहेंगे आप. क्या हम ये माने कि प्रधानमंत्री पहली मुलाकात में ये विषय उठाना भूल गए हैं?
देखिए, आप कुछ नहीं मान सकते. मैं तो सिर्फ ये कह रही हूँ आपको कि मैं डिटेल्स नहीं देना चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि ये तो सारे कॉन्फिडेंशियल मीटिंग्स हैं, और अगर आपको वर्ड पर वर्ड दिखाऊं कि क्या डिस्कस हुआ तो फिर ये कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी की क्या बात होती है.
पल्लव?
Foreign Secretary Pallav Bagla from the Science Magazine and NDTV. My question is a little different. Amidst all this talk on terror and trade, etc., was there any discussion on this specter of a drought which is going to hit both Pakistan and India because of this developing El Nino and the below normal monsoon which is expected? Or all was discussed only terror, or what happened on this? Was this raised?
I can assure you that more was discussed besides terror, but I'm sorry that we didn't discuss El Nino. Maybe the next time.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Shamantha. I'm from Reuters. I think someone asked earlier about Kashmir, and you said the two secretaries would be in touch. But could you tell us clearly if it was discussed at this meeting, and if so, what views did India express?
I think India's views on Jammu and Kashmir are very well known already. I don't need to reiterate them.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, right.
Uni Krishnan from Bloomberg News. On trade ties, you said you're ready to fully normalize trade ties. What next in terms of concrete action, or was just a statement of intent?
You're aware that the roadmap was drawn up as far back as 2012, right? And the next step that needs to be taken is for Wagah Atari to be opened up to full trade. That's the next step. After that, then other steps will follow.
Yes, sir.
मैम मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहूँगा कि क्या प्रधानमंत्री निकट भविष्य में पाकिस्तान की यात्रा पर जाएंगे, और जैसा आपने कहा कि इनविटेशन एक्सटेंड किया गया है और डेट्स वर्कआउट की जा रही हैं, दिस अप्लाइज टू पाकिस्तान ऑल्सो?
देखिए, ये इनविटेशंस तो आए हैं और इनविटेशंस तो एक्सेप्ट भी किए हैं, मगर कोई डेट्स नहीं है. आपको ये नहीं कह सकती हूँ कि अगले महीने होगा या अगले साल होगा, क्योंकि डेट्स को वर्कआउट करनी है.
Yes, sir.
I'm Khalil Hashmi from Mainichi newspapers. Which kind of impression Indian Prime Minister got by the answers of Nawaz Sharif? I mean, were those, his answer was satisfactory or not to him?
You know, as I said, and this is why I made it very clear, that all the meetings were held in a very friendly and cordial atmosphere.
Yes.
मैडम, मेरा सवाल पाकिस्तान से रिलेटेड है. क्या आप जिस तरीके से आपने बताया है उससे ऐसा लग रहा है कि टेररिज्म को लेकर के पाकिस्तान की तरफ से जो भी बातें कही गई, भारत उससे बहुत खुश है और व्यापार शुरू होने वाला है. क्या हम ये मान करके चलें कि अब जो है बातचीत की शुरुआत जो है हो चुकी है?
मुझे आपका सवाल समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. ये प्राइम मिनिस्टर नवाज शरीफ आए हैं, आज बात भी हो चुकी है, तो आप ये क्यों पूछ रहे कि बात शुरू होने वाली है?
उसके बारे में मैं बात कर रहा हूं. क्या उसको हम मान करके चलें कि अब जो आतंकवाद को लेकर के पाकिस्तान का रुख था और आज जो बातचीत हुई उससे भारत सरकार खुश है और व्यापार शुरू होने जा रहा है?
जी, ये सब तो मैं नहीं कह रही हूं. मैं सिर्फ ये कह रही हूं कि फॉरेन सेक्रेटरीज विल मीट एंड डिस्कस द वे फॉरवर्ड. तो उससे ज्यादा आप जो सोचना चाहते हैं आप सोचिए, मगर मैं ये नहीं कह रही हूं.
Anyone? No, you finish your question. Manish?
Foreign Secretary, I just want to know whether the attack on the Indian consulate in Afghanistan was discussed between the leaders of India and Pakistan, and is it possible to share what is the response of the other side?
My friends, this is the third time you are asking me the question, and for the third time I'll give you the same answer, which is that it is not, I do not intend to tell you in detail what was discussed between the Prime Minister and his interlocutors. It is not the practice to go into the detailed aspects of these conversations.
आपने तो पूछ लिया. Anyone who hasn't asked? नहीं? अच्छा.
मैम, पूरी इस बातचीत के मूड से क्या आप सेफली कह सकते हैं और सेफली एज्यूम हम कर सकते हैं कि भारत और पाकिस्तान अब दोस्ती का हाथ बढ़ाकर आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं, पिछली जितनी भी कड़वाहटें उनको भूल के आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं?
देखिए, we want peaceful and friendly relations with Pakistan. However, for such relations to proceed, it is important that terror and violence is brought to an end.
Yes, Santosh.
मैम अभी आपने कहा कि प्रधानमंत्री जी नेपाल जाने की इच्छा उन्होंने जताई है इस साल, तो ये क्या सिंबॉलिक है कि वो हिंदू राष्ट्र है, सिर्फ अपनी यात्रा की शुरुआत वहीं से करना चाहता है, विदेश यात्रा की?
No longer in हिंदू राष्ट्र.
पहले तो हिंदू राष्ट्र तो नहीं है, सेक्युलर बन गई है 6 साल पहले 2008 में. और दूसरी चीज है कि सार्क समिट होने वाली है नवंबर में, तो जहां भी सार्क समिट होंगे तो फिर प्रधानमंत्री तो जाएंगे ही.
Anyone else? Yes, Jayant.
Not only satisfied with the answers from Prime Minister Sharif on 26/11 Mumbai trial, considering you said the meeting was cordial.
The meeting was very constructive. Both sides were trying to address each other's concerns. Let me put it that way. We know what each other's concerns are, they know what our concerns are, and they were trying to address them. More than that, I don't want to say.
Okay. Sachin, on Bangladesh.
Was there any mention of the land boundary agreement, the need to settle the agreement by Bangladesh side? And if yes, what was the response of Prime Minister Modi? Thanks.
Yes, the Speaker of Bangladesh Parliament did raise it. And then our Prime Minister responded by saying, let's see. Dekhenge.
Gautam?
Whether, ma'am, Bangladesh Speaker has invited Prime Minister to visit Dhaka, and whether he has accepted that invitation?
Yes, the Bangladesh Speaker did invite our Prime Minister on behalf of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to visit Bangladesh, and our Prime Minister has accepted the invitation.
Ma'am, did Tista issue was raised here? Tista was raised during the talks, and what was the response of the Prime Minister?
The Tista issue was raised, and the Prime Minister said that we'll see how we can look at it.
Yes.
Given our Prime Minister's campaign during elections, just wanted to know, did the issue of infiltration come up during these discussions?
You know, we talked about all the various areas, including people-to-people contacts, the fact that you have very good cooperation between our two countries in a host of sectors, including in power, in connectivity, road and transport, and all the other areas, including the numerous issues that we have in common in terms of a shared history and culture. So we discussed the entire broad gamut of issues, including border management.
Okay, I think with that we will come to the end of this interaction. Thank you very much for all being here. Thank you.